Conspiracy theories about the United States government that ended up being true. Number 7. Experimenting with their citizens. Many times it has been said that the government of the United States has experimented with its own citizens and that the government has always denied it, till something terrible was discovered that they had done. Between 1932 and 1972, the Public Services of Health of the United States made a series of experiments on 400 African American citizens injected with syphilis. This was done in the state of Tuskegee in Alabama. The experiment was done because they wanted to know how the illness attacked if it wasn't treated. For the spoken of experiment, poor and illiterate people were chosen, of which most of them didn't know of what they were ill of. The government only told them they had really bad blood, but that they remained calm because they were going to help them. Although the reality was that they didn't, but at the end it was revealed through means of communication, but it was too late. Out of 400 patients that were experimented on, only 74 survived. In 1997, the President of the United States, Bill Clinton, apologized for the mentioned experiment. Number 6. Attempting mind control. Between the year 1953 and 1964, there existed a project led by the CIA called MK-Ultra, of which 150 experiments were done on human beings to be able to control their minds. To do so, the test subjects were given a series of psychedelic drugs without having consented. The objective of the experiment was to create substances that could be used to dominate the minds, like serums for the truth, to pull confessions, or to erase and manipulate memories, and even to introduce false memories. The spread of the project MK-Ultra was very wide, now that in more than 80 institutions of the United States, including 44 colleges and universities, as well as hospitals, jails, and pharmaceutical companies, it is known that the CIA used the mentioned institutions simply as a facade. Even so, the managers of these places were aware of the activities that were being done. Presently, there doesn't exist much details concerning the project MK-Ultra. Now that it was discovered, the majority of the tests were found and destroyed. What is known is that this really happened. Number 5. Attempting to manipulate the opinion of its citizens. Operation Naga was a plan made by the military of the United States that was done in 1962, of which aimed to manipulate the opinion of its citizens and gain the approval of the people of the United States against a military action against Fidel Castro. The plan at the end wasn't carried through, but it was very dark, and if it would have happened, the military of the United States would have committed acts of terrorism in Cuban territory and even on its own grounds and blame it on Fidel Castro. These dark plans were proposed by high orders of the Ministry of Defense in the United States. Alright now, President of the United States of that time was John F. Kennedy, of whom was assassinated less than a year later. Number 4. Nazi scientists helped the government of the United States. For the end of the Second World War, when the fall of Hitler was near, the CIA, without the permission of the Department of State, together transferred more than 700 Nazi scientists specialized in rockets, chemical weapons, and medical experimentation with their families to the United States. And it's because many of their medics tested with the prisoners of the Nazi concentration camps, going all the way to using biological weapons. Number 3. Creating witnesses. In 1990, a 15-year-old adolescent girl spoke in a very emotional way in front of the Congress of the United States over the brutality of the Iraqi army, telling them how they had killed 300 babies in a hospital. Thanks to this testimony, the government of the United States attacked Iraq, but years later it was discovered that it was all a lie, and that she was the daughter of the ambassador of Kuwait to the United States, and had been trained to give that speech with the final intention of manipulating the American public opinion with the necessity that the U.S. intervene in the Gulf War. Number 2. Listens in on their citizens' calls. Some years ago, the National Agency of Security of the United States admitted that they listened in on phone calls of the population. Afterwards, they collect all the data and they analyze them. When they were accused of espionage, they replied by saying that they do it for the security of the nation. This revelation showed how the use of espionage functioned in the NSA. Yes, the National Security Agency. Furthermore, due to the same laws that permit listening in on phone calls, also are useful in texts, emails, and instant messages. The revelation started to suggest that the analysts of the NSA also were accessing all the communications of the citizens of the United States, not just the phone calls. Number extra, the alarm that didn't leave prints and killed from a distance. Between the revelations of the illegal activities of the CIA presented to the Senate of the United States in 1975, there was found an informant that assured that there existed an incredible weapon capable of killing from a distance without leaving a single print, which is a pistol capable of provoking cardiac attacks with micro injections that had venom, and that the venom also would disappear quickly. And because of that, everyone thought the death was caused by natural causes. Number 1. Poisoning its alcohol. A law in the United States prohibited the sale of alcoholic beverages, of which lasted during 1920 and December of 1933. Well, years ago, it was proved that before the government removed the law, it decided to poison the alcohol that was in the streets. This was so that the people could die, and so provoking fear between the populations, and so they would follow the law. For this reason, 700 citizens died by the actions of the government of their own country. Well, family, now you know 7 conspiracy theories of the United States that ended up being true. I start to wonder, if these are true, how many conspiracy theories that we thought were false in reality are true? And it's because today we know the truth. Very frightening, don't you think?